Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joel Abner Anthony, and this presentation that I'm going to present today is reflects on my experience doing the Week 5 ethical decision making simulation or the role play involving allegations of child labor within the CT confectionery. In this role play, I actually participated as an investigator responsible for interviewing the CEO of CT confectionery regarding concerns surrounding potential child labor practices and supply chain oversight. This reflection analyzes my experience, the ethical perspective that influenced my decision making, stakeholder impacts, and the lessons I learned about ethical leadership and professional communication. Moving on. In the introduction to the simulation or the role play, the simulation or the role play focus more on a potential issue of child labor associated with the city confectionery, which is a supplier connected to Bill B Health Snacks Limited. As part of the investigative team, my role was to actually conduct a fact finding interview with the CEO of the confectionery. The purpose of this interview was actually to better understand the company's ethical stance, that possible business impacts of the allegations, and also the feasible actions that could actually be taken moving forward from this whole issue. During the whole investigation, I aim to remain professional, objective, and focus on gathering accurate information before forming conclusions. Moving on. The key areas of investigation. During the whole interview, three main discussion areas guided my questioning. These included CT Confectionary's ethical stance regarding labor practices, the potential business impacts of the allegations, and also the feasible actions available to address the issue. The CEO stated that the company did not knowingly hire anyone below the legal working age. However, if you think about it, the responses regarding labor oversight and supply chain management were actually very vague and lacked transparency. Although the CEO acknowledged there are many gaps within the supply chain and hiring oversight, there was continued denial that children were present within the premises. This actually created uncertainty and made it difficult to fully assess the reliability of the information being provided. Well, what are the personal experience and also challenges I faced? One of the most significant aspects of the role play was the frustration I experienced during the interview process. While I understand that the importance of remaining objective and professional, I found out it is quite difficult to confidently evaluate the situation due to the vague and indirect answers provided by the CEO. I felt conflicted because the responses appeared carefully managed and lacked direct accountability. This highlight the real world challenges. Investigators out there may face like this when organizations attempt to protect their reputation during ethical crises. At the same time, the experience reinforced the importance of maintaining professionalism, listening carefully, and continuing to ask meaningful questions even when responses are unclear. This experience clearly shows that the importance of ethical leadership and communication when handling sensitive organizational issues. Moving on, ethical analysis and recommendation. Following the investigation, my recommendation would be for Bilby Health Snacks Limited to actually continue its partnership with City Confectionery, but with only under stricter ethical monitoring and also accountability measures. I believe that the company should implement regular labor audits, improve supply chain transparency, and strengthen corporate social responsibility policies to reduce the risk of unethical labor practices. My decision was mainly influenced by the stakeholder theory, which suggests that businesses have responsibilities not only to shareholders but also to workers, customers, suppliers, and the communities affected by the business operations. I also consider utilitarianism as the recommendation aims to create the greatest long-term benefit by protecting vulnerable workers while maintaining business continuity and employment opportunities. In addition, the implementation of stronger CSR policies reflect the importance of ethical corporate responsibility and accountability within the organization. As you can see, there are stakeholder impacts. My recommendations would affect multiple stakeholders in different ways. For vulnerable workers and children, increased audits and labor oversight could provide stronger protection and safer working conditions. For city confectionery, the stricter monitoring may increase operational costs and pressure management to improve their transparency. However, it may also strengthen the company's long term credibility and ethical reputation. Bilby Health Snacks Limited would benefit from protecting its reputation and demonstrating ethical responsibility to consumer and also investors. Customers may also develop great trust in the company's reputation to ethical business practices and responsibility in their supply chain management. This reflects the importance of considering the interests of multiple stakeholders during ethical decision making. Next up, we have our cultural awareness and also reflection. Although cultural differences were not actually a major source of conflict during the simulation, the experience still highlighted the importance of remaining objective and avoiding assumptions when investigating the ethical issues. I recognize the importance of balancing empathy with accountability. While businesses may face operational and economic pressure, ethical responsibility towards workers should not be ignored. The experience actually reminded me that the ethical dilemmas are often complex and require investigators to consider multiple perspectives before making recommendations. The simulation also reinforced the importance of ethical awareness and professional judgment within organizational behaviors and also environment. The personal learning and also development part. This whole role play taught me that several valuable lessons about myself and also ethical leadership. First and foremost, I developed greater confidence when handling difficult conversations and asking challenging questions in a professional setting. Secondly, the experience improved my communication and active listening skills, especially when responses were unclear or defensive. Most importantly, I learned that ethical decision making is rarely straightforward. Ethical leadership requires patience, accountability, and the willingness to address uncomfortable issues even when there is uncertainty. This roughly aligns with the idea that ethical decision making involves critical thinking, responsibility, and awareness of organizational consequences. Lastly, future applications. In my future career, this experience will influence how I approach ethical decision making within organizations. I'll place greater importance on transparency, accountability, and stakeholder welfare when evaluating business decisions. The simulation also reinforced the importance of ethical leadership and also effective communication when handling sensitive workplace issues. As a further graduate entering the workforce, I believe that the lessons will help me make me more balanced, responsible, and ethically professional in making my decisions. Finally, to conclude, the whole simulation and role play provided valuable insight into the complexity of ethical decision making within business environments. The experience demonstrated the importance of transparency, stakeholder protection, and ethical accountability when responding to serious allegations such as child labor concerns. Overall, this role play strengthened my understanding of ethical leadership and highlighted the importance of maintaining professionalism, empathy, and critical thinking during challenging investigations. With that, thank you very much.